Yeah, who is this guy? Reforge Gaming.
If the community note comes off of that tweet, so then it actually makes me money, I will delete the tweet to prove to you I don't give a frick about this stupid social point rat race. PC gamers be like, listen, it's not that difficult. All you gotta do is open the config file, search for any...
So let me get this. So if the community note that says that he's wrong is removed, then he will admit that he's wrong?
What the fuck is... Who the fuck is this? This is insane. After the last video that I made on Pokemon, a comment was left on that video asking me to look into Reforge Gaming. And if there's something that you guys really need to know about me, is that I love digging into some lore. I love it. Truly, truly love it. I can eat it up. I can do it every day. You know, whichever. Hello, what's up, and welcome, everyone. My name is Miss Quinn, and this has been quite the ride to find out who is Reforge Gaming. Reforge Gaming, or Lono if Google is to be believed, started his gaming channel on December 13, 2020. And no, this is not the day that music died, so please leave, Don. You see, immediately after that comment, I opened up my YouTube app and searched for him. He currently sits at 54.8 thousand subscribers, with the first video on his channel being one from 3 years ago. And I'm pretty sure he deleted quite a hefty sum, considering that that's what a lot of YouTubers tend to do a lot of times. I've also deleted a lot of my old content that doesn't really fit with my current content, so it makes sense that he would be doing the same. One thing that I found out with also researching Reforge Gaming is that him and I both love PlayStation. But even I'm able to admit when PlayStation Pro isn't worth it for me. I made a whole video about it. And he also loves to get into arguments defending PlayStation. I mean, like I said, I love PlayStation, but at the end of the day, they don't pay me to defend them. And they certainly don't pay me to argue on their behalf, something that he clearly loves doing. So after getting onto his channel, I clicked on a random stream from a few days ago that was over 5 hours long. And it was about him talking about it being the last chance for Bungie. And yes, I sat through what I could because I do not have 5 hours to spare for something that really annoyed me. I'm so sorry. But I had to re-listen to the first 40 minutes twice because I forgot to take notes. And this was before I found out that I could listen to them on Spotify. Here's my opinion, and this might anger some people. I'm sorry. It was hard to listen to the full 5 hours, but I've learned so many things from him in that one stream. I know he's married since I saw a wedding ring on his finger. I know he's a father of more than one kid. 43 minutes and 42 seconds into the live stream. Yes, that's right. I have timestamps and everything written in my notes. So, oh yes. And Metalhead, thank you. Because of you, I didn't realize that one can spend over 20 minutes talking mainly about becoming a member. From 5 minutes to 36 and 22 seconds, he's mainly calling out people and saying that they, need to become a member, talking about member battles, which honestly remind me way too much of those Twitch battles. But his member battles consist of like, oh, look, who's becoming a member more? Like, we have YouTube on this side and we have Twitch on this side. Ding, 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 battle it out. But then I also notice within that time frame, he says something interesting.
That's why I've always said the single most important thing you can do to support this channel monetarily is to pick up your own membership. Whether you do that on Purple or YouTube, that is vital. It is absolutely vital. We have so many people that just stay in that gifted bucket, and that is not great. That is just not a great place to be.
If people have the money to donate to you, that's great. If they have the money to become a member, that is amazing, but you shouldn't force it out of them. You shouldn't have to force anyone to get out of the gifted box. Also, YouTube doesn't punish you if you don't reach a certain amount of memberships, okay? If that were true, they would have punished Foodie Beauty or Amberlynn Reed a whole long time ago. The only thing that YouTube does punish you for, from what I've seen, is inconsistency. If you go longer and longer without publishing videos, without doing any streams, you end up lower in the search results, which makes complete sense. But no, they don't punish you because you're not becoming a member. This just sounded so greedy to me. This whole section was just so annoying to me. Now, here's the thing. I have never streamed on YouTube, but him begging for memberships heavily reminds me of Pokemon, Bad Bunny.
Subs to get the stream going if you like the content, blah, blah, blah. How that results in 0 subs. There are regulars here. $5 a month. How do you have hours of time to watch me and not $5? I don't know. What are you doing with your life where you have hours of time to watch Twitch and not $5 to provide for the content that you're watching?
And even Invader V.
It doesn't really matter how much money you make or how much money you have. That's really the thing, because I'm not asking you for a large financial contribution. If it cost $20 to sub, $20 is quite a bit of money. $20 is you can get a full meal for $20. And the difference of $20 and eating a meal is in that $20. Like, that's where it is. But a sub is $5. At maximum, in whatever your currency is, it's maybe $10. And it doesn't matter how broke you are. If you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10, truly. If you don't have $10, you probably don't have time to watch Twitch because you should be working. You should be trying to earn money. It's not a ton. It's not like a ton of money.
Okay, it always leaves me with such a sour taste in my mouth when the creator essentially demands money, memberships, or subs, whatever it is. Like, you should be happy enough that people watch you and give you their time, which is the most valuable thing of all. Because who's gonna have time to actually sit there and watch a whole bunch of your stream, to watch the entirety of your stream without fault, and just, I don't know, you should be grateful for their time. It takes a lot to sit there for a whole stream. Yes, they may not sub to you, but them watching you is helping you out in the long run. However, in this membership battle, YouTube was essentially falling behind, within the battle, and Reforge, my bad, blamed it on the YouTube culture and calls it a problem. And no, it's not a problem.
The response is been a shrug shoulder, so we're just continuing to not really know what that means long term with the culture on YouTube, other than just to continue to try. There's no guarantee that everyone would move over, even double dip. Yeah, that's the biggest problem.
Viewers should donate because they want to, without any type of complaining from the creator, without any type of them feeling guilty from the creator. You should not tell them, hey, you're donating. Oh my God, the YouTube culture is so horrible. That's why they're not donating. No, ever felt like maybe they're not getting the entertainment that they're supposed to receive, or feel like they, and I understand, to each their own on the value of their entertainment, and if they want to donate, that is fine. But this is something that always grinds my gears. This is such a pet peeve of mine when creators essentially demand, sponsorships, demand any type of donations, any type of subs, memberships, whatever the case is, when it's just like, okay, put in the work. It's just like, don't just expect for people to donate. No, you need to put in the work. I'm sorry I'm going off about this. Let me just continue. Anyway, did I mention that this talented man makes music? No. Well, that's because he kind of doesn't. He has AI do everything for him. All he has to do is write prompts. I'm sorry, I don't like AI. I think it takes the beauty out of actually creating something on your own, and then having you play your AI songs as samples after people spend their Twitch points or unlock them. like after reaching certain membership milestones. Then I found out that he puts these songs in an album. Okay, he played so many of these AI sample musics. I just got annoyed and I decided to keep a tally mark on how many times that they were played. Unfortunately, I lost track because of how many times I spaced out. But it seems like I wasn't the only one annoyed by this. Now, I bet some of you are wondering if he could copyright these songs that, you know, that he pour his sweat and soul into. And, well, you see, people have asked that exact same question. You see, in the beginning of this year, we have seen the rise of AI skyrocket. And of course, people want to copyright their so-called work. Now, the United States Copyright Office has released a report outlining its approach to granting copyrights to content created using generative AI. The verdict: a work created solely through AI is not copyrightable, but a work that combines human creativity and AI can be copyrighted, so long as there is sufficient amount of human expression in that work. So something tells me that, you know, he will be able to copyright his quote-unquote songs if he just puts the right amount of work, which he does say that he writes the lyrics. How much of that is true, I don't know, because people are able to make songs just by, you know, writing whatever little prompt they say, like, oh, make a song about this and this, and then there you go. Now, moving on from his 5-hour live stream, which honestly, like I said, I couldn't get through. I am honestly really, really sorry, but there's just only so much that I can take and so many brain cells that I am willing to part with. One of his recent video game reviews to get backlash was Elden Ring Night Rain should have flopped. Now, before I go into that, I will outrightly state that I have never played any roguelike game ever. Like, ever. The closest thing I've gotten to any roguelike game was watching Keywilder01 and Porter Knight on Twitch. And I could only go by what I see. And when I see them play, they honestly enjoy playing it. So I have nothing against roguelike games. I just suck at video games, and I would prefer not to rage quit. From the video I watched on him complaining about the game, citing that it had so many performance issues on launch.
The developer literally warned about this before it launched on PC, which is really weird to say, hey, we're going to have frame rate issues in Elden Ring Night Rain, because Elden Ring had those issues when it launched. I'm not really sure why those problems would be resurfacing and repeating themselves, but they were.
Now, keep in mind, however, it's not uncommon for games to have performance issues on launch day.
First day or two, most of the negative reviews on Steam were focusing on the performance issues.
I mean, it's sad and it shouldn't happen. It's something that shouldn't be common, but it's true. It's kind of a common occurrence. One of my first videos when I came back to YouTube was about Cyberpunk 77, and we all know how that game launched. Later on, you know, went on to become such an amazing game, and yes, it still has its glitches here and there, but not like it did in the beginning. This is why, when it comes to slight performance issues, that's something I don't heavily criticize anymore, because every game has those slight performance issues. It's a common occurrence. It's something that I don't believe is something worth commenting about at this point. It's like, okay, yes, it has slight performance issues. I think that shouldn't make or break your opinion on a game at all. I think it should depend on the gameplay and on the story. But hey, that's just me. Maybe I'm thinking about it completely wrong. His other issue with the game as well is that there was a lack of crossplay, since apparently you need to play it with 2 other people, but you can only really play it with someone of your same platform. Then it makes, you know, he just makes a whole big deal about it.
They built a game that hinges on playing with 2 other people, and they launched it without crossplay. This made me basically back off from even trying to stream it. I had one person on PC who could help, one on PS5, and one on Xbox. Well, I can't do anything with that. We all have to be on the same platform.
I sincerely doubt you couldn't find 2 other friends to play it with you on PlayStation. From what I know, crossplay isn't easy to implement, but I do know that Fortnite has it, Dead by Daylight has it as well, even though there's issues when it comes to Switch players playing it with other players, but that's just a whole other story for another different day. Either way, let's just go out on a limb here and go like, okay, Reforge Gaming doesn't have anyone to play it on PlayStation. Well, that shouldn't immediately discredit the game either, because it's like, can't you just find, you know, friends? Don't you have any friends? Like, as a gamer, you basically have as well gamer friends, and I'm pretty sure you have at least one other person that has a PlayStation console, or like a couple of people, and you just don't want to, like, I get it, you want to be able to have that crossplay, and that is something that a lot of games should be implementing, but should they really implement that, like, when they have other things that they could focus on? I don't know, just think about it. He cites this as a huge issue, and honestly, okay, I can see how that would be a huge issue for a lot of people, but I don't know, it's just something that I don't believe should massively impact your view and discredit the amount of work that has been put into the game that you're currently playing. And listen, I've played games that I had to stop playing within under an hour because I just didn't like them. It was something about the controls, or something about the graphics, or whether it be the messaging, heavy messaging on the game. Okay, I understand, but here's the thing. Whenever it comes to making a dedicated video for something, like the video I made of Suicide of Rachel Foster or Marvel's Avengers, I play them well over more than just an hour. I literally finished those 2 games, and the Rachel I played twice, and I finished it to completion because I wanted to see if anything was different if I picked certain options. I think before you make a video saying that a very popular game should have flopped, and yes, it's very popular, then maybe, just think about it. Play it for more than an hour, okay? Part of making a game review video is not only looking at other people's opinions like the reviews, but also the most important part is playing the game for more than 2 hours. But you played it for what people have, you know, outed you for less than an hour. A lot of games don't even kick off until like 2 hours into the game or an hour into the game. His takes a lot of times seem to be brought into question and criticized by other content creators like GaraaoftheRage, Oh No It's Alex, Vara Dark, SneakyCacti, MomentofSanity, to name a few, because there is a lot of people here that critique his reviews, and honestly they should be critiqued. Why are you critiquing games that are, what? You haven't even played them for long, sir. Now, a part of his questionable takes and him burning bridges with creators, one of them being GaraaoftheRage, he tends to not like it at all when people question him. You'll see what I mean, okay? In these clips that I have here for you, he starts talking about this man who had an unsavory opinion about Xbox.
Because that's their goal. Their goal is they're so insecure in what they think that they want to eradicate the other opinion because it bothers them at such a deep personal level, because they're juvenile and they lack maturity. So they just want to eradicate the other viewpoint from the earth. They just bully and harass somebody to the point that they quit and they go away. He came back this morning. I mean, all he's got to do is not look at it. You know what I mean? Post and ghost, bro.
I just love when he says to ignore what people say about you, but he has been caught allegedly downing, taking down videos of people who criticized him with good old-fashioned copyright and blocking them from social media. What are we, in kindergarten? Reforge Gaming is currently going on a blocking spree against anyone calling out his threats of illegal copyright takedowns. Mischief did show screenshots of Reforge Gaming apparently blocking him, and showed a screenshot of Sid Alpha also pointing into light of the situation. You see, doubling down, blocking, throwing copyright takedowns like it's trending, and deleting tweets faster than being unalived in any video game. In my opinion, it doesn't seem like this was his first time doing that, because it seemed a little too quickly and way too, I don't know, it just seemed like this was like like autopilot type of mode type of thing. Whoa, that was one hell of a sentence. It was sort of a knee-jerk reaction, if you will. I mean, the fact that he's probably done this so often to where people in the replies knew to screenshot your tweets before you took them down. I understand having a bad take or whatnot. I've had bad takes. But, allegedly taking down videos because you don't like someone else's opinion on it is just... honestly, to put it in the very nice terms of possible, it is lame. Very, very lame, sir. You see, on the internet, we're all going to receive some form of criticism for either our opinions on games, our opinions on the companies, and even if we talk about, their favorite content creator, there is no way to not receive any form of criticism of what you're publicizing, on a very public platform, okay? Your opinion is going to be critiqued, and that is something that you're gonna have to get used to sooner or later. But it seems like you didn't learn that sooner or later. You learned, hey, if someone critiques me, let me just take down their video. Alright, this next thing that I'm going to mention is completely alleged, even though he did confirm it on a private messaging between somebody else, like back and forth. And once you say, I'm sorry, you're right, I shouldn't have done that, you are essentially confirming what you have done. But again, these are all alleged. I just want for you to keep that in mind. You see, while researching Reforge Gaming, I came across the fact that he used to be known as SayNotoRage. And no, I'm not talking about this because he used to want to be, a rock star because of, the hairstyle that he's rocking. No. Reforge Gaming, aka SayNotoRage, used to be known as a Destiny streamer until he was, in his words, unfairly banned. Although while he was known for Destiny, there were now multiple alleged accusations of harassment towards women. In a tweet from Illegal Desi, which I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Illegal Desi Gaming, he not only shared a screenshot of Reforge defending Sony, but they happily reminded everyone about the alleged harassment years ago. Now, someone else did tell him to let it go because there was no crime committed, there was no punishment needed, and I don't know about that, my guy. Considering that when people started to question Reforge Gaming about the allegations, all he could do is his regular shtick, block people and delete, which is not a good look. When you don't acknowledge what happened, that's when you get talked about in communities like Reddit's live stream fail, with the most recent being 3 months ago. Twitch partner SayNotoRage has been unbanned for 4 years, 9 months, and 1 week. Now, someone in the comments did ask what was the reason for the ban, and another person links a video that was posted 4 years ago. And yes, guess who watched it? Guess who has 2 thumbs and is excited? This girl. Anyway, one of the women mentioned in the video was someone named MomentofSanity, and the creator, Upper Echelon, which again, I hope I am pronouncing correctly, mentioned that Snaps used to be a friend, actually, of Reforge Gaming until the incident. He really got high on a vape pen, and
in summary, the convention went sideways when Lono got extremely high off of a vape pen belonging to SheSnaps. This put him on a pathway to oblivion because as the night progressed, he said a number of things and acted in a certain way which resulted in SheSnaps feeling uncomfortable. Some of the keynote items were when he touched her hair at the dinner table, when he leaned against her on the bus, and when he would rub his own legs and say things like, "I get very sexually liberated or awakened when I'm intoxicated."
If you know how you get whenever you're under the influence, maybe practice some self-control and don't get to that point where you're really high in the sky like birds.
Is that these interactions were dealt with at the time. SheSnaps sent Lono an extremely long letter laying out all of her feelings. She told him exactly what had transpired from her own perspective, exactly why his actions were so unpleasant for her, and he profusely apologized. This was years ago. What happened after that is where things got bad.
Okay, Reforge did apologize when Snaps told him in private messages, but later on publicized it. Then later on, more women came out with their own allegations.
She Snaps goes public with a long, detailed document rehashing the events from 2018, reposting the letter she had previously sent him, and further explaining a few situations in the time since where he had allegedly, as I stated previously, scheduled his meet and greet purposefully during the same time slot as hers and snuck into an event while hiding his badge. Princess Kitley, another streamer who had long been socializing with Lano, posted a series of direct message screenshots to Medium with a detailed description of how his sexual jokes had made her uncomfortable. A streamer by the name Jules Verne spoke up about how he had put his hand on her thigh during a card game at one point. Next, a streamer named Sarah Daniels jumped on board, saying he had creeped her out after he cornered her and made her feel uncomfortable at some point.
Unfortunately, there was one woman who said something happened when she is very well known to be a drama queen and insert herself into everything. I will be linking the video that I'm talking about in the description, since I don't want to stay on this topic for too long, since this is already becoming a long video as it is. And I feel like it would be a complete disservice if I talk about his video entirely without giving him the credit or without linking his video. Now, Reforge, aka Lono, aka SayNotoRage, is known mostly for, dodging any comments against him through blocks, his undying loyalty to PlayStation, and going off on people who can't afford to drop $70 plus on any game that they want on the drop of a hat.
I don't like penny pincher gamers. I don't like people who seethe and mauled over $70 price points. I don't like any of that. I do not like people who come into this hobby and they're cheap.
Yeah, he doesn't like penny pinchers, and he thinks that, we shouldn't be into the gaming hobby if we can't afford to just drop $70+ in a whim. Well, now it's $80 a lot of times. Some of us don't have the money to just blow it willy-nilly, and not because of that doesn't mean we shouldn't be in this hobby. I currently told my partner, yeah, you should totally game. It is fun. There is affordable games if you don't want to drop games. And a lot of people, if they're just getting into the hobby, or even if people that have been in the hobby for years, we shouldn't be expected, again, to drop a bunch of money on a game that we don't think, is going to work out. And it's very hypocritical for you to say that as well, when you're judging people for not dropping money right away on a game, but yet you're also criticizing a game for not being finished. And wouldn't that be also a reason to not drop our money on games right away because of that? Again, you make no sense, sir. This whole entire thing has had me run around in circles in my head, because even the stuff that I research, he contradicts himself so much. Like in a recent video, he talks about gamers wanting refunds and saying that they shouldn't have to pay, for essentially a game that's broken or stuff like that. But yet you're criticizing people who can't spend their money on broken games. It's either one of the other, my friend. It's one or the other. It's like he's trying to skirt his way through both sides by standing on this one fence. But as soon as he's criticized for doing that, or for leaning too much on one way, for leaning too much on the other way, he just starts blocking. He just starts getting on this little tirade saying, I didn't say that. Ever thought, Reforge, that maybe a lot of us also don't want to drop money on a game right away because we don't know if it's going to be a quote-unquote crappy game or not? It's different for me. I literally went out, I sought out and bought Suicide Squad and Star Wars Outlaws just so I can play them. I bought them pre-owned. Mind you, I did not buy them brand new, but I bought them pre-owned and knew for a fact that it's a quote-unquote shitty game. Why? Because I want to give my honest review about the game. Not because of certain aspects like, oh, I'm going to buy this game because I want to complain that it's broken and that I should get my money back. No, it's not for that whatsoever. I want to make a game review, and like a well-educated, I'm not well-educated, let's just put that out there. And like someone who wants to do a decent game review, I'm going to play it for more than an hour. In fact, Suicide Squad, I think I've already had 4 hours into the game, and there's already some things that I don't like, but there's a lot of things that I do like about the game. You have to see about what you like about the game and what you don't. I did the same thing with the 2 games that I did not like whatsoever, and I even spoke about it on this channel before. I just like how Reforge Gaming goes on these very bad critiques when he hasn't played more than an hour on games and just stamps a thing like should have flopped. It's like, those are very, very big words for a game that you did not dedicate more than 4 hours of your time for. Like, you are a game review channel. People look at you to review video games. So wouldn't it be your due diligence and essentially your job to play these games and give them the time that is necessary to pass your final judgment on? He also doesn't like it when you can't buy your own membership when you stay in the gifted box. Doesn't like penny pinchers gamers. You know, blocks people who criticize him. Copyright takedown videos of those who speak on him. Goes off on his viewers whenever they point out something that he doesn't like. Has AI make songs for him. No thank you. Not to mention that the lovely rage bait he loves to do when it came to the new Resident Evil game that was announced.
It's always funny to me when people online get called out on their BS, and that is exactly what has happened right now with Reforged Gaming. He was claiming that there were tons of people calling Resident Evil 9's lead protagonist ugly, yet gamers are wrecking him, saying that's just not true. Really, I personally haven't seen any just on social media during discussions about this game. Everybody seems super excited for it. Everybody's looking forward to it. We can't wait for more information. And the lead character is very pretty. He got called out on his BS. Oh my goodness. He might have 8K likes, but I haven't really seen anybody supporting him. I haven't really seen anybody talking about how they agree and they've seen so much of this. Now, he did go and actually today, when I'm recording this video, put up a post that's got almost no interaction saying, look, I was correct. Somebody did this.
And then he goes on to say, oh, it wasn't rage bait. And I will say it wasn't rage bait. If the person that said I was rage baiting will take it down, then I will admit I was, rage bait. Like, sir, I don't understand you. You don't like it when people criticize you whatsoever. It's just like to just take the critique and say, I'm so sorry. You could, like, let's just say for the Resident Evil, in fact, you could honestly say, I did see in my chat there was a few people and I had the, and I started getting the understanding that a lot of people didn't like this game because of this, but it was mostly for a very few selected amount of people. You could have just said it like that and it would have been better. That's a much better apologizing. What the hell was that? That is a much better, I'm gonna pronounce it again. That's a much better apology than you doubling down and just going to attack a lot of certain creators. I don't know, okay? There's a lot of things that is questionably done that he does. I have no idea. Anyway, well guys, that's it for me today. Thank you so much. And if you made it this far, please tell me what your favorite game is. Metalhead, thank you so much for asking me to make a video on this guy. I learned something new, and honestly, I hope you guys did as well. I also really hope that I did this video justice. Let me know if you all want me to talk about something or someone else in particular. Remember that I do have a second channel and I have, I post gameplay videos mostly there, and that's about it. I have an Instagram if you want to look that up. I don't know why I'm plugging my shit up like a lot, and I'm sorry for my voice, guys. I'm currently sick. I don't know if you noticed. Anyway, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Now, yeah, I'm a day one beta player as well, FCAT, and obviously if I wouldn't have been unjustly banned from the game, I would be still playing it.
Are we trying to foster a community or a members only community? I have zero desire to interact with the public or allow the public into my Discord. Fuck them.
So they just want to eradicate the other viewpoint from the earth. They just bully and harass somebody to the point that they quit and they go away. He came back this morning. I mean, all he's got to do is not look at it. You know what I mean? Post it, Ghost, bro.
What the fuck is... Who the fuck is this? This is insane.